Is bad juju good juju now? What? Uh, Hey guys, what is up? AwesomeTheSauce here, and welcome to a test realm video! This is a very special video, obviously because, you know, the graphics update just dropped. I gotta say, man, like, you know, it looks really beautiful. You know, little minor touches, like, you know, you can see the arena from here, you know, that's really cool. Just, they actually went really all in on this, but you know, believe it or not, the graphics are great and all, but like the one thing that I thought was really cool that honestly not even too many people were talking about it is a PvP update that happened with Bad Juju. So as you guys can see now, when it comes to PvP, if you use Bad Juju, it actually takes 25% of your HP. Now what does this mean? This means that Juju spamming is going to do a lot more than 300 damage. Now what is Juju spamming, you might be wondering? Why is this a problem in PvP? Well, a lot of people, what they used to do, they used to put on their Jade gear, right? Now they, you know, they bought this Jade gear fair and square, you know, whatever. And you know, they have their resist. Like if you guys can see, I have like 80 resist now, right? And I actually still have a decent amount of damage. You know, you can actually still rock quite a bit of damage, you know? And basically what they would do with this strategy is, you know, they would just Juju spam a ton. I mean, their damage would be a lot lower. They would have like a ward pet on or something. But the idea is they would basically just spam Bad Juju until either the opponent fled, or in other cases maybe they might have a strategy. The one that I used to use when I did do Juju spamming was use Dark Nova. It does a lot of damage, and if you have a good amount of universal damage, it could actually do some work. But the problem with it is that a lot of people are using Juju spamming just to stall, just to win the game by having the other opponent flee, which isn't a legitimate strategy. And a lot of people have been complaining about Juju spamming since it's been a thing, since Jade gear has been a thing, pretty much. So this is a really big change, and I'm going to show you guys how the mechanics really work. So we're going to enter in some practice PvP. Let's get right, look at the arena, it's so beautiful, oh, I'm gonna nut! Alright y'all, as you can see, we're entering into a practice match with the Hunter Dark Sword. It's practice. I'm not even gonna try to win, but I'm gonna show you guys what actually ends up happening if you keep spamming Bad Juju. Now, let's not forget, you can still heal. You know, it's not like it's impossible to heal. So we already got some Jujus. So another really big thing that I think you can tell just by reading the card, it looks like it only affects PvP, right? It doesn't affect PvE. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna hit him up with the Juju right now. Look at my health. I have 5,500 health. I have a ton of resist, but it still does 1391 damage to me. So it does 1391 damage to me, regardless of all of my joints. You feel me? Like, no matter how much resist I have. Look at this. The Fire Beetle did 5. That Bad Juju did all that damage. So that's a really cool mechanic. But here's where it actually gets really cool. You can actually cloak Jujus if you really want. Here's the part that I really like. And this is what makes Juju a much harder spell to spam in general, my man. Now, if you guys use Juju a second time, right, what you'd expect is that it does 25% as advertised on the card to my current HP, right? That's a bit over 1,000. But here, if you guys notice, what it actually ends up doing is another... It's another, like, huge amount of damage. You feel me? It's another big amount of damage. That's a lot more than just 25%. You feel me? So, what basically that means is that you're actually doing a lot more damage to yourself than just 25% of your current health. You're actually doing 25% of your max health. So, that's actually how it works. So, the idea behind it is you can't actually keep on spamming Juju and then eventually just heal it all back up. You can actually kill yourself with Juju fairly easily. It takes, like, if you guys see that it's 25%, it's 25%, right? It's 25% of your max HP. So, yeah, I could have sacrificed, but what this really does do is if you are going to use Juju, you're going to have to heal pretty quickly right after, or you're going to have some other type of strategy to regain that health, because you can't do more than 2 Jujus without being in serious trouble, especially as a Jade, because you have very, very little health. Look at this, man. Rip Jade Juju spammers is right, bro. Rip Jade Juju spammers is right. I think this update is really, really cool. I also think Juju spamming is a very, very serious problem in PvP, and I'm really glad that KingsIsle actually did this. It shows that they're listening, you know? It really shows that they're listening. Now, what do you guys think? Do you guys think that this is the end of bad Juju spam? Do you think it has become good Juju? Is bad Juju good Juju now? What? I'm kidding, but like, it's gonna be a very, very situational spell if you're offensive. I honestly wouldn't even use it if you're offensive. One really, really important point to note, I read this in the update notes, is that it ignores all wards, buffs, and your resist. So, that's really cool. What that does mean, right? What that does mean, and I'm going to show this off right now. We'll actually show you guys what this actually means really, really quickly. Now, let's say you're on the flip side, right? Let's say you're not a defensive death. You're actually an offensive death, right? So, let's say you blade up, you like skeletal dragons, you do all kinds of things like that. Now, what we're dealing with is actually a very, very useful spell. And I'll tell you guys why, alright? The reason offensive deaths cannot use bad Juju is because bad Juju uses your blades, alright? That's like a big thing. Let's say these were like 2 different blades, right? And I also have shields and everything. You're going to want those blades. You're going to want those shields. So let's say I blade right now, right? I'm blading right now just as a regular offensive death. This man's is blading too. Hopefully he doesn't kill me before I prove my point. But if I have like 120 damage, which is actually what I'm rocking on this wizard, right? And I see that he's gaining pips, and I want to shield now, right? I have a blade, and I have a shield. Now, what's very, very interesting is that now Juju won't use up my blade, and Juju won't use up my shield. That's a really, really important thing. If you're first, you can absolutely use Juju as freely as you want, and follow it up with a drain, and it actually probably won't do that much. Look at this, right here. If you guys notice this, right? It says it will take 25% of my HP, right? But that's no matter what. That is no matter what. So, if I am to blade and I shield, and I use a Juju, what's very, very interesting is that it actually doesn't use up my blade or my shield. And that's a really good mechanic. That's a really, really good mechanic. That's the type of mechanic that you always want to have. Now, let's say I were first, or let's say I just wanted to stall. This was a perfect way to do it. I still have my blades, I still have my shield. I can actually follow this up. And in a regular scenario with my 2 shadow pips, I could probably make something happen very, very easily. So, what I'm trying to say is, it's not necessarily that bad Juju is not possible. It's that bad Juju spamming is much less possible. So what's really, really great here is that we have an option for offensive death wizards to actually use this. I actually think that most self-damage hits should be like this. I would argue that, you know, Dark Pact and Empower could be like this for a much smaller percentage. I think Juju should be 20% if you're asking my honest opinion on this, because Jade Wizards don't actually have that much to begin with. And if you're really going to have a mechanic where it ignores like all blades and all shields, why not just have it so that it actually does like some logical percentage so offensive wizards can use it? That's my only theory here in terms of like why I think, you know, you could be able to do it. I think these self-damage hits are one of the most underused things in terms of death wizards because only other schools can use them. A death wizard doesn't use Empower because it uses up their blades. A death wizard doesn't use Dark Pact because once again it uses up their blades. So this could be a very, very, very interesting way of bringing death back into the limelight if you can find a way to make it so that both Empower and Dark Pact do percentage damages instead. That's my suggestion for KingsIsle moving forward. I think it would bring death right back into the competitive scene. I think people can be very creative when you give them the right options. But yeah, guys, Juju, does it suck kind of now? Yes, it does. But only if you've only been spamming it all the time and just expecting your opponent to flee as a result. You know, you can still heal, you can still drain. Death is amazing at healing and draining. It's actually a very, very good percentage right now as it is. I would lower it to 20%. That's my honest opinion, because honestly, 4 seems like a very small number. That being said, maybe, you know, if people like uber set, 4 might just be enough. You feel me? I don't know. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Very, very interesting what they're doing with spells. I hope they don't ignore PvP because it's a huge part of the community. And yeah, as far as this update, man, I'd straight up give it a 10, bruh. This is really, really great. The music is amazing. The textures are amazing. And this PvP update is very, very good. It gives defensive wizards a reason to stop being defensive all the time, and it gives offensive wizards a new tool in their toolbox. So yeah, guys, if someone isn't told your awesome day, they doing something wrong. Drop a like if you enjoyed, and leave a sub if you're new, and stay awesome, bruh. Yeah, yo!